Tell me, what kind of architecture is this and this? If you think this one is Buddhist, then you're wrong. It's Hindu. If you think this one is Hindu, then you're wrong. It's Jain. We often confuse architectural styles with specific religions or cultures. But how did we get here? What was Indian architecture like in ancient times? In this video, I will explain the roots of Indian architecture and how its concepts evolved over time. We generally imagine Indian architecture in two types: religious architecture and palatial architecture. Religious architecture is well defined, and I have made two videos on over 20 types of temple architecture. As for palatial architecture, we often think of something like this. Inspired by Rajput Mughal styles, blending Persian and Indian elements, but ancient palaces didn't look like this. We do not have any remnants of ancient Indian palaces predating the medieval period, so we rely on the styles of temple architecture from those times. But temple architecture wouldn't have been suitable for palaces and mansions. The shikhara or vimana were sacred and not used for secular buildings like houses, mansions, shops, or public places. The earliest known style of Indian architecture is depicted in Buddhist stupas. We can get a general idea from traditional vernacular architecture across the Indian subcontinent. For example, this is a Maharashtrian vada. Its distinct features include a wooden pillared veranda at the entrance and a central courtyard surrounded by rooms for air ventilation. Similar styles can be seen in traditional houses in Karnataka, Kerala, and even Nepal. Now look at this Buddhist structure. You will notice a similar template. This gives us a rough idea of what ancient Indian houses and mansions might have looked like. The shikhara in Hindu temples share features with Jain temples due to the Nagara style. This is similar in Dravida temples. Like the Jain temple at Shravanbelgora, the architecture is quite similar. What distinguishes a Hindu temple from a Jain temple is the main deity and the surrounding iconography. This style and its motif are attributed to Buddhist architecture, but they could simply have been the fashion of the time. A key feature of this style is the horseshoe motif, referred to as Chandrashala or Gavaksha, meaning cow's eye in later terminology. This motif, a roof design, was commonly seen in buildings from the Mauryan era. It might have originated from ancient Indian huts, as a similar design still exists in Toda huts today. This horseshoe or Gavaksha evolved from Mahajanpada buildings into religious architecture like caves and temples, eventually appearing in the later Nagara and Dravida styles. In fact, in the Dravida style, this motif becomes a collage of many houses. This influence even extended to Southeast Asian architecture to some degree. The Turco-Persian influence introduced the concept of Rajput arches with jharokas, which, like the Chandrashala, was later incorporated into Maratha architecture. So we get a basic idea of how ancient Indian mansions might have appeared, not the Mughal Rajput palaces we see today, but more like the structures found in ancient caves. It's not just Buddhist style, but a uniquely Indian one. Even the earliest physical references to temple architecture, as seen in Indian coins, depict this style. Examples from the Audumbara, Yahudeya, Trigarta, and Saurashtra coins date back to the 3rd century BCE. In conclusion, ancient Indian architecture would have looked more like this, not the Mughal Rajput palaces depicted in medieval paintings or modern TV shows. Stay tuned to Pravyam Now for more content on history, mythology and fiction. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. This is Pranav signing off. Tada.